I don't hear it.
Go ahead.
All right, peace, everyone. Peace. Welcome to our Moroccan Post. This is September 21st, 2022. Happy fall equinox. Happy fall equinox in this hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere below the equator, it is actually the vernal equinox. All right, so it's the vernal equinox. It's 6 months apart. 6 months apart. So there's the vernal equinox, while it is the autumnal equinox here, right? So above the equator. So happy once again fall equinox, everyone, and not all over the world, of course not, but in this hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere. All right, so we have the Moroccan Post Law and History and Government class. We have a wonderful class for you today. Definitely going to address some misconception that was what else we have, Terrence? Yes, we're going to for everyone, this will be starting next month. We're going to go every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. I'll make that announcement at the end of this class, and then also make it next week, and we'll put out a flyer. So every second and fourth, mark your calendar, every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, starting next month. All right, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so this is the fifth class of a 6-part, actually 7-part Moorish consular relations, Moorish power, Moorish treaties, and consular relations series. We're going to do next week be the class 6 of this series, and the second Wednesday of October will be a recap. Shem we'll do a recap of the 6-part series. All right, so we want to be very detailed with this and these are very important class. I'm excited about tonight's class, man. I really am. You know, we have prepared for this. All right, so Terrence, you're gonna get to the screen.
You see the screen now?
Yes, the next screen, so we can.
Yeah, this is the next one. This was for the YouTube channel here.
Oh yes, go ahead. This is the YouTube channel, the Law, Government, and History class, Moroccan Post Media YouTube channel. Yes, Terrence is keeping me on task. The Moroccan Post Media YouTube channel. These are my books, moorsandmasonry.org, moorsandmasonry.org. There's no space between that. moorsandmasonry.org is my website. You can purchase these books here. Moors and Masonry Part 2 will be available, coming your way soon. All right. Thank you. Next.
So what do you want to start with?
We're gonna start with the quote.
Ready.
All right. At the end of last week's class, September 14th class, there was a quote, a statement that was made, and we're going to analyze that statement. All right, we're going to analyze the statement that was made. It was done at 10 o'clock, and so we're going to analyze the statement, because we would be remiss. It's our duties to address any misconceptions that are brought on our platform. All right, so any guest, anyone who comes on our platform and makes a misconception statement, we will address that, and we will put together a lesson. We will analyze it. All right. Judgments are not laws created by an act of Congress. That's the title. That's the subtitle for the day. This is part of the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations series. And the subtitle today is Judgments Are Not Laws Created by Acts of Congress. Judgments are not laws, because judgments are not laws, and laws are created by acts of Congress. But so this is the statement made at the end of September 14, 2022, Moroccan Post History, Law, and Government class. It's the quote: "The laws of the country would be the debts that the Moors contracted with the citizens of the United States in accordance with Article 23 of the 1836 treaty between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. We actually have laws against Charles County Corporation, which they are abiding by them now. Those are the default judgments we entered against them. They are abiding by those laws." I'll reread this. Once again, this is a statement that was made at the end of the last week's class. "The laws of the country would be the debts that the Moors contracted with the citizens of the United States in accordance with Article 23 of the 1836 treaty between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. We actually have laws against Charles County Corporation, which they are abiding by them now. Those are the default judgments we entered against them. They are abiding by those laws." All right, so we're gonna go up. We're gonna read. I'm going to read Article 23. Article 23 of the 1836 treaty between the Moroccan Empire and the United States. "The Consul of the United States of America shall reside in any seaport of our dominions that they shall think proper, and they shall be respected and enjoy all the privileges which the consuls of any other nation enjoy. And if any of the citizens of the United States shall contract any debts or engagements, the consul shall not be in any manner accountable for them, unless he shall have given a promise in writing for the payment or fulfilling thereof, without which promise in writing no application to him for any redress shall be made." All right. Shem, you want to go, Shem, you want us to go into default, define default judgment first?
Okay, default judgment when a dispute arises
We
between.
have it up here. Hold on, Shem, we have it up there. Shem, Terrence, and then we'll have you further explain it, Shem. Go ahead, Terrence. Well, since Terrence, go ahead, Shem. While Terrence getting up there. Go ahead, Shem.
I can't hardly see that. It's little.
No, Shem, no, just talk. Just talk, define it.
Yes.
He doesn't have it up yet. We don't want to have too much space. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, when in order for when a Moorish national, a Moor and a citizen of a state, United States, or a resident of a state gets in a conflict, the only legislative power that can govern between both of them is a treaty. And the treaty makes it clear that no agency or either one of the governments can intervene in that matter and represent the national citizen, but a council. Let me explain. Judgments are what you call decrees and decisions given by a tribunal. Therefore, the council, when the council takes jurisdiction, the council becomes the judicial officer in that matter. Therefore, the council makes a ruling on that matter. I mean, for both parties to settle dispute, one has to be either liable or not liable. So therefore, if one party don't answer, that's a default judgment. Now, the judgment is not the law. The law is a treaty. Only thing the council can do is force the judgment. So you just might say that the laws are the Moors law, the default judgment of the Moors laws. That's not true. It can't be, because laws are only created by the legislature. That's the power. The legislative branch only will have power to create laws. And when the legislative branch ratify and consent to a treaty, therefore the articles in the treaty is the only judgment. Anytime a country, a receiving country, or any hosting country violate that treaty, that becomes that judgment. The articles of the treaty become the judgment, the law, because the legislature, once the legislature consent and ratify that, that becomes like legislative law as if they pass a bill or act. So therefore, the treaty articles are the law. They govern everything. A judgment is not, a judgment is just a reward or a liability placed on one of the parties as a default or the negligence to the claim. That's not law. I'm gonna explain what I mean. If I'm a citizen of North Carolina and I sue an agency of North Carolina in court, and that court rules that the agency violated my right, is not allowed to do that, then I can enforce that judgment against the agency when it comes down to that constitutional article or amendment in that constitution that of the United States or the constitution of the state. The thing that protects me, the Constitution protects me. What I did was I sued a state agency for violation of the article in that Constitution, which is the law. That's why it's there. And for violating that law, if the legislative law act or law or legislative bill, I'm able to get a reward against them, a liability against them. Once the courts reward that, that's not the law. That just say that you can't violate that constitutional protection I got in that Constitution. So we talk about default judgment of the law. I mean, you're not protected until you sue. You're not protected until you sue the government or the citizen for violating the Moorish treaty. No, that's not true. The laws are already embedded inside the treaty, and the government passed acts and bills to protect a national right, alienation rights of the treaty. That's what they do. That government does. So we have to make sure that when we say that the laws are the judgment for the Moors enforced against the state, United States, and its citizens, that's like saying, well, wait a minute, hold up. If the Moors don't sue, if the Moors don't go into court, if the Moors don't go into court as a plaintiff, now, or to go into court as a plaintiff, you got to be an immigrant, a citizen, a resident of the state, or a citizen of the United States as a plaintiff. Because no court got subject matter jurisdiction, not even the judiciary cause to hear a matter of a Moorish treaty. Once the treaty is self-executed, said that a counselor, what happened is the senators create a subcommittee and they create an organization, Office of Foreign Affairs. They create an organization that operates to hear all kinds of jurisdiction matters, the fourth count of jurisdiction pursuant to any convention or any treaty. Therefore, one cannot expatriate themselves by going to the courts, saying, well, I go to courts and I get a judgment against the state. Well, here we go. This is a bad doctrine right here. You got to go to the tribunal, wait for the tribunal rule to be protected. That's a dangerous doctrine you're dealing with there. I mean, Moors don't have no rights unless the courts give it to them. That mean now the treaty of 1856 between the parent European powers, Great Britain, made it clear that any nation or state by conquest or treaty is bound by that treaty. Therefore, in that treaty said that the Moors have exclusive jurisdiction over all civil and criminal matters. So when they make that matter up, that means that the Moors have the own legislative power to enact their own laws and decisions to govern as the laws against the United States or any citizen of the state. That's their right. That's self-executed, no power. And watch this, in the Crown Rim and Dominion. What's the Crown Rim and Dominion? Georgia, a colony, Pennsylvania, a colony, host of colonies that the subjects allowed to go there for their own self-determination. They're still commonwealths because they operate in a political jurisdiction of the colony. That's controlled. The crown never relinquished. The Crown Trust Company still control all these colonies. All of them are commonwealths. United States of North America is not a corporate commonwealth of independent communities operating as organizations in a colony territory. Therefore, when the Constitution was written, it was written by the Esquires, by the power of the Lord Proprietors. It made it clear that the inherent power is in Congress. So Congress is the only one to make laws. So the Moors got their own political power based on the Granada Treaty, the treaty between Great Britain and Morocco. These are the parents, Spain. These are the European powers, the first entered treaties in Morocco. These are the first sovereigns that got dominion. rims, zones here in Morocco. They are the ones that have the power to say, listen, treaties with Morocco have exclusive jurisdiction, political and civil and criminal over civil matters, internal affairs, civil and criminal jurisdiction. Therefore, if the Moors got that, there don't have to be a lot of foreign court judgment to be law to punish any national break the treaty. The council.
What happened? What happened?
Thought it was me.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Shem.
You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute, Shem. You're on
Shem.
mute. Call him, somebody. Call him. I gotta call him.
Yeah, he's channeling intuition right now. He's talking straight from his heart.
How you going?
Shem,
Yes.
you were on mute. Don't you touching the phone or something? You touching your phone or
No, I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute at all.
You were on mute. You were on mute. You were, not now, were, past tense.
So you hear nothing?
I can hear you now.
How long I went out? How long did I went out?
About 25 seconds. About 25 seconds.
All right, go back. Just go back to Moors don't have to sue, and United States courts to get protection. Let's start with that. Go back to that. Moors don't have to sue.
Do not have to
United
sue.
States courts to
The
get
United States
protection.
court gave protection because the protection is in the treaty. The treaty operates as a red judicata judgment already. Meaning that anytime it's violated, the council will, if it's violated by a state under subjugation of the crown, control of the crown, or by a citizen of that state, resident of that state, or United States citizen, the council will directly to the council of that citizen and file a complaint, a civil complaint for damages. Once that judgment is rendered, that judgment, based on the foundation of the treaty, makes the treaty the law. The govern that matter. The treaty is the law. The judgment only for reward or liability. So what happened again against all Moors for violation of the treaty. Once they have it this way, all Moors are protected because the treaty violation came in. A judgment was rendered on behalf of the treaty.
Say that one. That was good, brother. Say that one more again.
Once the violation is brought by the council to the council general of that government, that's a treaty of Morocco, all Moors are protected because that treaty now, a civil penalty or liability will be put against that national or that government, the state, or host of states, and therefore all Moors will be protected based on that judgment by that council, based on the proper jurisdiction of the treaty. So the treaty is the law. The articles of the treaty is the law that the Moors have to enforce through their council. Any questions?
I did see one person put their hand
By
up.
serious. By serious.
Yeah. How you brothers doing? Okay, so the default judgments that's placed on them basically are not the law because they wouldn't really affect us either way because it all goes back to treaty. Is that what I'm pretty much understanding from this?
No, what I'm saying
I've been told, because from what the brother said in that statement, the default judgment would be the law. So pretty much that is false.
absolutely, that's a misconcept. The reason why it's a misconcept because in order to go in that court, that state court, you have to go in there as a plaintiff. There got to be a plaintiff and defendant. Who are you? If you're a plaintiff, that means you expatriate yourself. Because if you go in a court to have a Moor, they're not going to take jurisdiction. They don't have assigned jurisdiction, they don't have exclusive jurisdiction, or they don't have subject matter. They'll dismiss it because there's no law, no act of Congress or in the treaty that allow a state tribunal or federal tribunal to hear a Moor complaint in that court. It got to be in the treaty. It said council officer. Once you use the word council, that's the international judicial officer of each government that's elected, appointed by each government to hear all disputes, criminal, civil. If the treaty is self-executed, that is the law. The council make the decisions. whatever the council make based on the Moorish treaty violation, that protects all Moors throughout the crown, throughout the Spanish, French, and British rims and dominions, period. If you go in there as a plaintiff and say you're a Moor, you get a judgment of a war. What kind of war you got? A liability against the state? Okay, that's what that thing you saying. That's the only thing you got to rely on as the law to force against the state. Okay, where your counsel? Who appointed you to counsel? You in violation of the treaty. You're not the counsel. Once that word counsel is there, you got to show me you're a counsel. That you appointed by Moorish government as a counsel. Now, if you say you're a counsel, then I mean, you saying you won't be in the court. First of all, if you're a counsel, you will not be in no federal court or state court. You before the counsel general of that state, or the host or the receiving body, hosted body, a government that signed the treaty. You will not be in no federal court. If you're a counsel in federal court, that means you don't know what you're doing. That's not the treaty. The treaty doesn't give you authorization to do that. So no counsel will go in there as the Moors, Johnny Franklin, the counsel for Johnny Franklin as well. No, that's not the court. The courts don't have jurisdiction. They hear that matter. Just like immigration, United States Immigration Department. If you come into immigration status, you can't file a petition in the court. You got to follow immigration. The Attorney General office handle that. So Attorney General turn you down without a hearing. You can't. I got a case. You can't. If you appeal to the court on Attorney General decision, Congress, the courts have said Congress delegate them with authority and the act and the statute to turn down without a hearing. So you can't bring a petition for immigration status in the federal court because the act of Congress does not allow that. So that treaty is an act of two governments. It does not allow any state court, receiving hosting courts to hear that matter.
Does that also apply against businesses as well? Like if you have, you want to bring suit against, say, a car dealership, would that all apply to something like that as well?
All right, that's
It's civil and criminal. That covers that.
Got it. Appreciate it, brother.
Yes.
Well,
Any more questions?
Let's look at that. The owner of the car dealership is a citizen of the United States. The
Correct.
owner of the car dealership is a citizen of the United States. The car dealership is registered under one of the states in the Union of the United States.
As a person.
As a person. As an artificial person, the company is an artificial person. The company, the car dealership is an artificial person of the United States, of that state. Yeah, that company is an artificial person, all right, created through articles of incorporation, all right, and articles of incorporation is legislated by a particular state of the State of the Union of the United States.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I have to break it down this way because that question, all right, to understand my serious question and the component, you got to look at the components. What's the components? All right. Great questions. Vernon.
Islam. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Okay. I got a question. Does contract law trump does treaty law trump contract law?
All right, hold on. Let's look at this. Let's look at talk jurisdiction. All right, hold on. All right. Remember, you didn't say does contract law of China trump treaty law. You didn't say does the contract law of France trumps treaty law. You didn't say the contract law of England trumps treaty law. You didn't say the contract law of Germany trumps treaty law. You didn't say the contract law of Nigeria trumps treaty law. You just said contract law. You just asked the question, does contract law trumps treaty law? I mean, contract law of what nation state? We're not assuming anything. We're not assuming anything. You said contract law of what nation state? You say contract law, that means a parliament, China, France, Germany, England, Nigeria, South Africa, etc. That's the parliament or Congress or legislative body of a country enacts the contract laws for that said country. You just said contract law. That's like in abeyance. That's like out there in banging in space. You just said something in space, contract law. You have to say contract law of a particular country. You just said contract law. That's in abeyance.
Do you mean contract? Are you
for
for contract law between individuals?
But I'm saying, Shem, the contract law
I want to know what he's saying. What he's
by
saying?
a country legislative body. He just asked the question, contract. All right, I'm doing this for a teachable moment. This is for everybody. This is for everybody. It's a teachable moment. Contract law, saying contract law is like saying would be analogous to, I have the key. Here's the key to the car. There's 100 cars in the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
100
Go
cars in
ahead.
the parking lot. Here's the key to the car. Abdullah, there's 100 cars in the parking lot. No, the car. Are you saying the car? But it's 100 cars out there. You know, the car. All right. So saying contract law without indicating the nation state, without indicating the nation state, would be analogous to saying the key to the car. We have to think like this, my brothers and sisters. That's why I'm stopping it, slowing it down. We must rise to this level of critical thinking, epistemological reasoning, and analysis.
Abdullah.
So hold on, y'all. So let's give Vernon a chance to give us the jurisdiction of which he didn't mention in his question. So let's start over.
No, Islam, I get what you're saying because I never took that into consideration of contract law of a particular nation state. So I understand what you're saying and I'm correcting myself. So yeah.
All right, put your phone on mute. Mute your phones, please. Mute your phones or computers or device. Mute your device.
Let's call her.
All right, so let's start. So does the United States contract laws, trump treaty laws?
No.
That's what does United States contract laws trump? Does the United States contract law trumps treaties that the United States have with other nation states? That's more. Does United States contract laws trump treaties that the United States have with France, England, Germany, Empire, Morocco, Nigeria, etc.? We must be able to articulate in this manner. All right. We have to be specific. And this is just part of learning. That's why we're in this class. That's why we're having these classes. That's why you're here.
Islam, I get it.
All right, go ahead, Shem, answer the question.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Now, Vernon, let's say when you go into a deal with a United States citizen or United States agency, and they say application, a clause say, if you are a foreign national protected by treaty, you agree to waive the right to consular protection, consular jurisdiction, and all criminal civil matters. And you sign that. Let me see what happens. That's a waiver. That's called a clause, a waiver. That in the contract, that's called a waiver clause. Now you can sign a contract and waive your Moorish rights under the treaty, but no other contract has legislated any Trump the supremacy clause, because the Constitution is a contract. In that contract, it states that all debts and obligations instituted for the firefighters of the Constitution obligations in the United States are given to the Federation. All treaties made And the suit, they call it supremacy clause. Supremacy means that reigns supreme over all the articles in that contract. It's a clause. It's supreme. So
All right.
look at that contract. No, there's nothing that the state's legislature can pass that could take away the treaty rights. No, neither the United States, but a more individually can sign a waiver in the contract, taking away the rights. That's called a waiver.
All right.
And that contract, that's done.
Shem, let's analyze that. Let's slow this down. Let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. All right. According to international law, the only waiver that one can sign, dealing with its treaty protection and rights would be that individual natural person would have to what? Renounce his allegiance. Meaning that we can't, all right. Hauenstein, let's go to Hauenstein versus Lynham. The only way that Hauenstein could have waived his treaty protection under the 1850 treaty between the Swiss Confederation and the United States, the only contract that Hauenstein could sign is naturalization papers. That's it. I mean, there's no other contract that Hauenstein could sign to waive it. To waive that treaty protection, Hauenstein would have to become a citizen of the United States. He would have to qualify for naturalization, and he would have to sign naturalization papers and then pledge allegiance to the United States. There's no other contract, according to international law, all right, and also dealing with naturalization. That's the only contract you can sign. That's the only contract a French national could sign to waive his French treaty protection between France and the United States would be that French national would have to go through the United States naturalization process. He or she would have to qualify. All right, that's it. There's no other contract they can sign. We're talking international law. We're talking a foreign national, a French national. There's treaties between France and the United States. You have naturalization laws. You have the countries. You have United States naturalization laws, French nationalization laws, Germany nationalization laws. So you have United States nationalization laws. So that French national, there's qualifications. There's qualifications that French nationals would have to meet. They have to be here for a certain amount of time, something like that. It's qualifications. Other than that French national is not a citizen, can't be a citizen of the United States by side. There's no other way. That's called the naturalization laws of the United States. I just want to slow this down, man. I wanted to slow this down. All right. So there's no contract that Vernon can sign. Vernon can't waive the treaty protection unless he is a citizen, becomes a citizen of the United States. That's it. Vernon has to be a citizen of the United States. All right, Hauenstein. All right, let's go back to that treaty, that case. Hauenstein versus Lynham. So that way y'all not knowing I'm not talking out my butt. Hauenstein versus Lynham. Before Hauenstein had purchased 3 properties in Virginia, Hauenstein had transitioned. Now his relative, that Virginia, sold the 3 properties and kept the proceeds. Virginia stated that they didn't have to follow the 1850 treaty. His relatives filed for a suit to recover the proceeds from the sale. But before the first issue at hand had to be determined was was Haldenstein a citizen of the United States, or was he a citizen of Switzerland? It had been determined that Haldenstein never denounced his allegiance and citizen to Switzerland. So therefore, the 1850 treaty between the Swiss Confederation and the United States applies in the case. And Article 4 of that treaty states that a United States citizen in Switzerland, or a Switzerland citizen and United States could cover the proceeds. It not only protects Swiss citizens in United States, it also protects United States citizens in Switzerland. Article 5 of that treaty. Now, if Haldenstein had become a citizen, Haldenstein can't waive that. He can't just waive that. He can't waive that treaty protection. He would have, right, meaning that he has to waive it means that he has to become a citizen of the United States. The only way Haldenstein would waive it is that he would has to become a naturalized citizen of the United States. That's why it was first determined. Just look at it, had to determine whether he was a citizen or not. Why? Because then that wouldn't apply to him. It would that Article 5 of that treaty would not have applied to Haldenstein if Haldenstein had denounced his allegiance and citizenship to Switzerland. So it's called naturalization is how you waive it. You waive it through naturalization, means that pledging and denouncing your allegiance to your country and pledging allegiance. The Moors, help me out. My Masonic, oh man, my mind is just slipped me. Al-Qanan at 6:30, at 6:25, I was lying in bed, just get my rest before I can, come on. And Al-Qanan had Al-Qanan's conscious. Is he on now? Is Al-Qanan on now? No, he's not on yet. But Al-Qanan, he'll be on. He said, he said, oh man, we're still citizens of Morocco. He says, man, there's nothing that Morocco signed. There's nothing that Morocco signed that made us citizens of the United States. He said, oh, Abdullah, we're still citizens of Morocco. Morocco didn't sign nothing. I said, brother, your conscience is, there you go, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just like the Queen of Hawaii didn't sign anything. The Queen of Hawaii did not surrender anything. She didn't sign surrender treaty at all. When you see how a study does, critical thinking and analysis and reasoning, Mars, you got the floor.
El-Qanan just came.
El-Qanan's on?
Yeah, he just came on, but go ahead.
El-Qanan, we was just talking about you, brother. The conversation we had at 6:25 today, 6:25, about an hour and some change ago.
About an hour ago.
You made a comment that
El-Qanan, peace.
That Moors are still citizens of Morocco. Morocco did not sign anything. There's no treaty, no contract, no anything that Morocco signed agreeing that Moors become citizens of the United States.
That's right. That's right.
Said, you my man. I said, my man. My man.
Yeah.
My man.
I mean, until we relinquish our citizenship with Morocco, then we can choose to be American citizens if that's what we want, or any other type of citizenship. But we have to look at this. We are Moors by consanguinity, by birthright, This is our inheritance. This is
That's
who we
why I
are.
said everybody need to read the 59th Congress. I said everybody need to read the 59th Congress because that conversation came out between France and United States. In that conversation, there was nothing claiming that by 59th Congress that Moors gave up their national status as Moors. They're asking the question. There's nothing on that. If there's nothing on that decided by Congress, then the Moors never gave it up, surrender it at all. That's why that question came up.
So what is it called? Subjugation, just like the native people of Hawaii. It's subjugation. The queen didn't sign anything. She didn't sign surrender treaty, cession treaty. The first is subjugation. Go ahead, Mars.
I want to say good evening, everyone. Well, good night, depending where you are. My question was kind of answered by Brother El Canal coming in and just giving context, because currently right now, me, myself, I am not a United States citizen. So, you know, I've been advised to go through the process and become one for the last, I would say about 12 years. I currently have my permanent resident status, so I'm still in legal standing to be on this land. And after hearing what I've heard today, I don't know if I'll ever go through the process now. So my question on that front was answered. My question, just to enlighten others, was going to be, if we are not United States citizens and we do go through the process to become United States citizens, are we forfeiting or revoking our status as Moorish Moroccan citizens? But what I've interpreted from what the message you're trying to, the message you conveyed is that no, even if we become United States citizens, we're still not forfeiting that right as Moorish citizens. And my second question was about intellectual properties, because I'm also an artist, and it came from, I forgot the name of our brother, but the contract, him asking if the contract triumphs the treaty, and you answered the question very, very detailed. And I was just wondering if there's anything within our treaty about our intellectual property when it comes to us creating our art and us having ownership over it, or is our intellectual property owned by the government that we created it like under their grounds? Like if we created the property, the intellectual property in America, is that property governed and owned by America, and they have legal right and standing to authorize if that, you know, intellectual property can do such and do that?
All right, Shem's going to answer that by talking about consul jurisdiction, a consul being a conservator. Shem's going to answer that regarding that. Go ahead, Shem.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Your mind moving good, Professor. You remember that. Now, let me explain something.
You
This is
the
why I
man,
say
brother. You the man, bro.
it's very important for each Moor to be recognized by their own in-house government, cloaked with government power. The reason why, because you're supposed to take your artwork, a trust, and incorporate the trust in your Moorish regional government, Providence, and then take the artwork, the trust, and place the artwork as collateral of the trust. What happened is there's a law, international law, passed by the Senate Committee of Foreign Relations, protecting foreign assets. The art becomes protected as a foreign asset of an alien, a non-immigrant, a non-resident, non-citizen of the United States. Therefore, your artwork is protected by that treaty, which an artificial person under international law exists under the laws of a foreign government, protected by treaty. So your artwork is protected based on the trust, your status. As a trustee and beneficiary of the trust, your status brings in the treaty. Therefore, the counselor steps in as the guardian conservative of all these trusts and his artwork. Therefore, once the artwork is patented in your government, and your government and constitution got a patent clause, what happened is it becomes foreign now. So to protect it internationally, your Moorish government registered with the proper agency internationally as the indigenous operational government that ratified the Charter of the United Nations. And what happened is that Moorish government, when a problem happened with your artwork, the consular gives notification to the proper agency, organization of the Department of International Affairs. The step that the consular just means he the only one can hear that matter. That property is a foreign asset of a national, an alien. Therefore, it's protected by trust on the Moorish Treaty. Therefore, your artwork is protected. Any more questions?
No, I'm gonna remove my icon. Thank you so much for giving me that peace of mind, really. Thank you,
Yeah,
though,
let's
brother.
open up for questions, y'all. Let's open this up for questions right now.
Yeah.
Open it up for questions,
All right,
comments,
good.
criticism,
Good.
discussion.
Comment. Okay, now what Mars said, and I was gonna jump in on this when you had Shem to answer the question. Mars said that by being a Moor, if you get this is his words, if you get an application to become an American citizen, that does not renounce your Moorish
Consequently.
No, your consanguinity, of course. It doesn't. No, there's nothing that renounces your consanguinity. I don't. Did Mars say that? I don't think Mars said that, did he?
No, he did.
Yeah, I was I'm here as a sponge, so please correct me because I'm here to learn.
Let me show you out. First of all,
Thank
you can never wear your pedigree. You can't even sign that away. It's given to you through the carnal nature of your mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you expatriate yourself out of the protection of your mother country. The benefits that your mother country got for you. That's your mother, the country. There's a difference between expatriation and immigration. Expatriation means you change your political status. No longer seeking for the protection of your mother, your homeland, your mother country. You're looking for the protection of a foreign government. Therefore, by doing that, you change your political status, not your inheritance status of the consequentity. That don't change. You don't lose that. You can't lose your melanin, your carbon, your blood pedigree. You will lose your political status by seeking protection and benefits of a foreign government to protect you and benefit you and protect your property, your assets, and your person. That's different.
So to make sure I'm interpreting it correctly, what you're stating is that, yes, you still can apply for your citizenship and go forward with that process and get approved, and you still will have validity as a Moroccan. How would I phrase that correctly?
That's your pedigree. You just, by applying the application for immigration, you're dealing with political status. Political status is not nationality. Political status is a legal ethics to identify you on the physical control of that sovereign power, political power. For benefits, use their courts to get your fire put out and call the police, so they answer all your disputes. You use their money, their banking system. You give your allegiance over to that country, that country or state. That's a political
Fully
allegiance.
understand.
Yes. Any more questions?
Yep. The second one Mars mentioned. I want to make sure that these questions are answered because there are other people who have heard the question and they want to say, hey, these guys never touched on what he said. So instead of it being an assumption, I just wanted to make sure that this was explained. Now, the other one that he mentioned was, do contracts supersede treaties?
No, they don't. What I said was, in everything, if you're a citizen, a resident of the state, or a United States citizen, even between me, you, Abakam, we could be both Moors. And you got a company or organization or corporation that exists under Moorish law. And I had one that exists under French law. Now what happened is me, you into a private contract. You get me to agree that if any violation happened, that me being a Moor, I waive all my rights to consular jurisdiction and treaty protection. That's a private waiver and a personal contract between me and you. They got to do with the government. There's a personal contract. So when a violation happened, when a council come in for my government, he said, "Wait a minute." You said, "Wait a minute. I'm a Moorish national, and he's a French national, and he agreed to waive his rights to counter jurisdiction. So he's not going. The council going to say, "Wait a minute. Well, I go and issue what you call a confessed judgment, because the contract speaks for itself. I agree knowingly. I can read knowingly, intentionally waive my right to that jurisdiction, that power, the protection. It's like me having a mother, and the mother says, "Time for you. If something happened to your father, you got to take over your father's inheritance." And I say, "That's not my father. That's a voluntary waiver. I deny my father, so I can't get the inheritance of my father based on what? A denial." By signing that waiver clause, you deny your right to protection. That's not saying you're not a Moor. That's not saying you can't be protected later on in the future. It's saying under that deal, that contract deal between your company, my company, and me, I waive my right to counter jurisdiction if you do something wrong to violate my morals, my rights. You understand?
Amanda?
Well explained, well explained.
Yes, I gotta say the same thing and 100% agree with that.
Yes. For, I guess, comparison and clarity, we were saying before that the Queen of Hawaii, and I believe also in the Hausenstein versus Lynham case and the treaty with Switzerland, that there is no treaty that was signed by Morocco agreeing to Moors being citizens of the United States, and how in Hawaii that was subjugation, same with Moors as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, I guess, to compare with the Treaty of Guadalupe that does have
There
one
you
of
go.
those.
There you go. There you go. Go ahead, drop it down. There you go.
Would that be considered subjugation on that part, or no, because there is that clause?
All right, that citizenship clause, that article, I think Article 3, that the Moors classified as Mexicans had 1 year to decide whether they would remain Mexican nationals or become citizens of the United States. They had to inform the Mexican government of that. That's stipulated in the treaty. Now you also have there's also naturalization treaties with Barbaria and the United States. Barbaria and the United States has a naturalization treaty. There's also the citizenship clause in the 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty. They're French subjects, who still remain even under Spanish territorial Spanish exercise thing of their territorial sovereignty there from 1762 to 1801. Now, that Article 3 of that treaty is a citizenship clause. So this is why we're showing you these things. This is why we showed it, on the Moroccan Post on Pump TV, so you can actually see, that, well, there's citizenship clauses, in these various treaties. There's also what's called mergers. So these are standard principles. If there isn't a treaty, citizenship clause treaty, or clause that a treaty that has a citizenship clause, then it's subjugation. By international law, it's subjugation. The United States is subjugating the native people of Hawaii. The United States is subjugating the native people of Hawaii.
All right, real quick, I would like to,
Thank you.
just while we were on that subject, thank you, Amanda, for actually bringing that up, because I had the same thing in mind. as just before you were saying that, I was looking up something that we actually presented on Moroccan, on Crumb TV, Moroccan Post on Crumb TV. And I am going to put this up here so everyone can see. And I showed Brother Mars the other night. And spotlight here. I'm going to take you guys down for a hot second so everyone can see. And this here is the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, Article 3. There's a citizenship clause because we were looking into how did Moors, how are Moors part and parcel of the said government, right? So this is what we're looking into. So we're going by principle, right? It says, how did French subjects become part and parcel / citizens of the United States? The Louisiana Purchase Treaty, Article 3, Citizenship Clause. It says the inhabitants of the ceded territory shall be incorporated in the Union of the United States and admitted as soon as possible according to the principles of the federal constitution to the enjoyment of all these rights, advantages, and immunities of citizens of the United States. And in the meantime, they shall be maintained and protected in the free enjoyment of their liberty, property, and the religion which they profess, right? And also, in this same presentation that we did, this would be the Guadalupe Treaty, which Amanda also mentioned. I'll go to the second one, so we don't agree with this one. All right, so this one, it says, okay, those who shall prefer, and this is for the Mexicans, those who shall prefer, I'm sorry, let me back up. This is for Moors classified as Mexican. Okay, how did Mexican become subjects? How did Mexican subjects become part and parcel / citizens of the United States? Okay, by way of this treaty here, Article 3. Those who shall prefer to remain in the said territories may either retain the title and rights of Mexican citizens or acquire those of citizens of the United States. But they shall be under the obligation to make their election within 1 year from the date of the exchange of the ratification of this treaty. And those who shall remain in the said territories after the expiration of that year, without having declared their intention to retain the character of Mexicans, shall be considered to have elected to become citizens of the United States. So by way of these treaties, they became citizens. So one question that we did have was, I'm going to present this here as well. Now, is there a cession treaty between the Moroccan Empire and the United States? Let's see. Yes. Is there a cession treaty between the Moroccan Empire and the United States, wherein the Emperor of Morocco agreed that Moors would become part and parcel or citizens of the United States? Did the Emperor of Morocco agree to extinguish the Moroccan Empire and sign a declaration of merger with the United States, thereby merging the Moroccan Empire and the United States into one state? All right. Can Moors reestablish government? Now, I want everyone to really think about and analyze this third one that I'm reading. Can Moors reestablish government, establish reversion to sovereignty, reestablish diplomatic relations with the treaty nations, raise the Moorish flag politically by coming into the constitutional fold of a foreign occupying power operating Moorish land? So these are the questions that we had that we also presented. So in fact, I'll read the last two and then I'll pass it on here. How can you bring a people subjugated by a foreign occupying power on their land and whose state has been extinct due to European conquest and colonization back under the protection of their state if their state has not been brought out of extinction. Can Moors make an autonomous claim by filing articles of incorporation under the legislative act within a state in the Union of the United States and recover lost Moorish sovereignty? I just wanted to present that as we have done before, and then just resurface this. All right, Abdullah, do you want to go into that at all?
No, this is good. You did a great job in deliberating that.
Absolutely.
All right, Shem.
Peace. How you doing?
Peace.
Business. Yes, I was listening, and I was just I did have one comment and a question. I'll start with my comment. I just wanted to thank the brothers and sisters for at Moroccan Post for clearing certain concepts up, misconcepts as well. Pertaining to there's one thing to have knowledge. We know that we're Moors. For bringing the clarity as far as the political ramifications of being a Moor, and with Moors that swear up and down they've been in the game for 10, 15 years, that's still not a concept that's spoken of in relationship to the political ramifications of our status. So I wanted to thank you guys for bringing clarity and bringing me personally out of the darkness so that I could reach other brothers and sisters who are in the same position. That said, so based on my studies and based on what I've observed, is the consular is the consul. He or she is the representative and on the international scale as far as the protection of our people. Is that would that be fair to say? So the consul would be an international judicial officer to hear matters on behalf of Moors in Morocco or in any of our territories?
Yes, because you become once a treaty is signed, once the nations sign the Act of Algiers and Act of Protect Morocco, when there's more than one nation signed, these superpowers nation, all these nations are members of the United Nations. So therefore, that brings all the nations treaties as domestic law enforced in all these nations. So therefore, you can't enforce a domestic, you got to force a treaty. The council will force the treaty as domestic law of that state or United States or nation based on the agreement of the treaty. So any rights that violated, the foreign nation can't protect you because the treaty doesn't give you the right and protection of that foreign nation. It gives you the right to protection of your council.
Okay, so I forgot where I was at. So the consul. So why is the consul with the duty like that, and how is that? Why is the consul not elected like other officials would be with that with the status, and then other as far as the plebiscite is concerned and the Moorish people coming together as one central governing body? Why are other officials elected by the people and then other officials appointed? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
let me answer that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And you have in many constitutions, you have legislative power, three branches: legislative power, judicial power, executive power. Right? I'm talking universally. You have the head of a nation state would be either a bey or a dey or a prime minister or a president. All right. Now, So we're talking about, well, we talk about head of state. All right. So we're looking at the executive power. And in a particular constitution, the executive power is vested in the head of state, prime minister, president, all right, a head of state. So the cabinet, a consul, an ambassador, minister of education, minister of defense, attorney general, minister of homeland security, and so forth. Then you have ambassadors, you have consuls, consul generals, that they are all exercising. See, the head of state is vested in a constitution executive power. So a consul is exercising its executive power by virtue of a commission from the head of state. That executive power that a consul or ambassador, consul general, all right, a prime minister, a minister of defense, secretary of defense, education, that power is actually vested in the head of state by the Constitution. So a consul is exercising executive power that is vested to the head of state. The head of state delegates through commission they have to have a commission though from the head of state. Now, if you're talking about because it's a consul, because of the consul, now you're dealing with international law, meaning that a head of state, prime minister or president, cannot send a consul anywhere unless there is a treaty. It's a treaty. The treaty creates that. All right. So the head of state sends commission papers to the receiving state. The head of the receiving state receives the commission. Let's say Mars. I'm the head of state. I'm prime minister. Mars is a consul. I send his commission papers to the receiving state. Mars does not have any authority. Mars does not have any authority to send anything to the receiving state. Well, we get that from Abdullah, the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. So nobody has to say Abdullah says. No one has to say Abdullah said anything. The Vienna Convention of Consular Relations is the head of state sends it to the receiving state, his commission papers. In the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations, I think Article 11, you have what's called exequatur. The receiving state, Joe Biden sends a letter of exequatur to the governor. If Mars is in, say, California, Joe Biden sends a letter of exequatur to the governor of California and so forth, Mars doesn't do this. Mars does not do this. Mars does not contact no governor of California, letting him know or her know that he's Morris consul. No. That the Joe Biden, the head of state does that. And Joe Biden, according to Vienna Convention of Consular Relations, sends that to the governor of California, letting the governor of California know that Mars would be, is the Morris consul, duly appointed, duly having the commission papers and everything. That's the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations, not Abdullah Bey.
Structure.
Vienna Convention of Consular Relations, not Abdullah Bey. So you don't have to say Abdullah Bey said. You don't have to say Abdullah Bey said anything.
What's so
I'm
interesting
saying that
about
because it's too much of that. It's too much of so-and-so said, so-and-so said, so-and-so said. That is not raising anyone. That's not raising any people.
And you know what's interesting as you talk about the head of state and as you talk about the council, when we take a look at our 33rd inspector generals and we look at the sovereign, when the commission or if there's any type of paperwork or documentation that has to be sent out and authorized from the rightful authority, it comes from the sovereign or it comes from our head of state, which is part of our council. And then that one reaches out and will communicate to another country, to another state, or whatever the case is. But that head of state or that sovereign is the one, that's our head of state, the sovereign, would reach out to whatever other governing body, whether it be another Grand Lodge or whether it be a country.
So where do the Moorish people fall into? Where do the Moorish people fall into the officials that are basically?
They would have to be elected. They would have to be elected. I mean, they would have to be. They have to do community outreach. All right. Let me answer that. Through political by facilitating political legitimacy through community outreach. You have your study group. You establish a study group. You don't establish no government anything. You don't establish a government anything. One person can't establish a government anything. You establish a study group, not a government anything. You establish a basic Moorish study group. You have kept flyers out. I'm telling you how to do it. Flyers out, and you have a study group. You have to raise the people up. You facilitate community outreach through political legitimacy. You must facilitate the consent of the people. You first do a study group. You have to educate the people into nationality, government structure, political legitimacy, all right? Then you get enough, be able to form a governing body. What with Terrence made it very clear. What people try to do is establish government first and then go get the people, which means they're not establishing government because government's the people. So actually, they're not establishing government because you can't establish government without the people. So they're not establishing government. So they're establishing what they think. They think they're establishing government, and then they go get the people. They're not establishing government. They think they are.
So let me get this straight. Even when it's pertaining to Moors, and you see people with, you see the self-appointment as you've spoken about. I'm Grand Sheik. So nobody's anything without the people. If someone's claiming to, what I'm saying is, if someone's claiming to be so on and so forth, the consular general or whatnot, or some an official of Moorish descent. So then who? So I need to ask who elected you then? Is that the question that needs to be posed?
Absolutely. So people are, as it pertains to Moors, what I've seen, conscious Moors, and I've explained it before, that they are, they're claiming these. First of all, Moors, conscious Moors, are taught by conscious Moors that you are the government. You are the government. I am the government. So you can pretty much claim whatever hat you want. That's what's been going on. That's what's been going on. No elections, no national elections, but that's what's been going on. So when you claim these, they're claiming to have these governments, right? Everybody is trying to beat everybody to the punch. You're trying to beat everybody. This body politic is trying to beat this body politic to the punch. Everybody's trying to be the head chief. And then it opens up the door for corruption. You're not elected by the people. The people comes first. We are the people. Then the people, I mean, it's just too much of it.
It's an old saying when I first started building. If you can't save your house, if you can't utilize your house, stay at other people's house business. First of all, this is a house thing first. So when you can branch in your house and get the people working in your house, that's a form of first protection, your house. Then you deal with the community, other houses in the community and people, the outreach, and let them see what you're doing, what you're doing for your house. So if you can't protect the house, then you don't really understand the concept of government. You go back anciently, look at everything starts for a house, a mother, a father, a house. It starts there. So it's supposed to start with your house. If you can bring your house under, educate your house, whether they agree to work with, whether it's society, a house, forming a group of houses, forming a society, or people in the community agreeing for a better way and say, listen, we didn't know who we are. Since we know who we are, we want that protection. Then that's the community. The house is form community. The neighbors, the people that do everyday business, selling, bartering every day. To whether handling newspapers, whether they're doing community service, make the people sign up and let Abdullah say come together and they see your house is involved, that means something. Everything starts from the house. And the Abdullah going on now, if you get a man trying to be a pharaoh or a king or empress or some kind of dictator, but you look at his house is out of order. There's no order in his house at all. The house don't even talk to him. They want to do with him. Something's wrong with that picture.
All right.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask how many people established what it is that we're currently talking about, a government for the Moors, because you talked about first starting a study group, which is currently what we're doing right here. So it seems like we're taking the right steps towards establishing something that's going to be a great foundation to build upon. But just out of curiosity, how big does this foundation have to be to have validity to say, I am, I heard one of our brothers say, I believe Grand Master Chief or just someone in the higher power, like the Godhead of the government of the Moors, and I've been appointed by the people. What amount of people gives validity for you to say that phrase and for it to be something that is looked at as certification in other governments and political eyes? I really hope I'm conveying my message right.
The 14 weeks, the 14 week course.
Let me answer that. All right. Mars, and this is for everybody. I'm going to, I'm going to say this, because I'm not going to give you a number. I'm going to talk activity. There's been conscious moves that say that the people don't want it. You can't say that. You have to show that.
That's right.
That means nothing. Meaning that you have to show that you put on events in the community. You have to show, that you pictures of flyers, all right? You have to show that you were at events as a vendor, with pictures and put on your website. You have to show community outreach. You just can't say that people don't want it. Where is the evidence or activity you've done in the community? Where are the events you've been at? Pictures, flyers, right? It's too much of that. They're lazy. You must have legitimacy. You must reach out to the people. You have all these events, Black History Month events, Kwanzaa events, this event, festival, this event, this event. Right. Conscious Moors are not active enough, man. Come on, we're not. We're not, man. We're not in the community. This is why I reach out to those Moors who are unconscious, quote unquote, Black power people. People who are active in the community. For 29 years, I have not seen this great activity in the communities among conscious Moors. I have not. I have not. I've seen it among unconscious Moors. I've seen the activity among unconscious Moors. This is what I've seen with conscious Moors. We get 3 people or 5 people. We stay in the house. We have a study group every week. Then it may grow to 8 or 9. There's no community anything. They don't set up a table, a vending table, anything, anywhere. There's no community activity at all. There's no community cleanup. They just do this every week. We're just gonna have study group. That's what I've seen. 29 years. 29 years. We're not in the community. We're not visible in the community. That is a weakness. Can we change that? Can we change that?
Yeah, we are. We're gonna change that with this forum. We're gonna change that. The more education that we get,
Brother
the more
Abdullah
information we get out.
For saying that, because I was out there doing what you call a food drive. And for one thing, I have to admit, I was out there among the people, public talking, but when they came down getting the application paperwork, I drug my feet. People willing to come in the rec center and sit down and talk with me. And I got the director to agree to let me come in 2 days a week and do that. But perhaps the person that I was dealing with was kind of like on a turn the flip side, that he had the time to work with it. I should never let that discourage me. So I know what Professor Abdullah said is true. I was out there doing a food drive, giving out food, water, everything, twice a week, and had long lines, cars pull up, giving out the flyers. Guess what? I realized something. I told Abdullah Bey, we do Facebook Live. I said, Abdullah, this stuff is going on every day around us, and we don't pay attention. The Democrat Party grows what? The Democrat Republican Party grows by what? Registration. They go out, knock on doors, and say that you got tell you what you got benefit, become a Republican Party if you win. We're gonna pass legislative law to protect us, do this. See, this is the footwork. Even Jehovah's Witness build their congregation by footwork. We don't do this. We think, oh, I ain't doing that, man. I ain't gonna do nothing. Them people will listen to what I can understand why, because it don't start your house. You don't comment. My Abdullah been witness to this. Me and my mother have constant conversations about what I'm into. If my mother wrong, I correct her. Abdullah tell you. To bring my house in obedience to this is very important right here. And she's with me on this. Your house got to be down, but you got to teach your house first. To see the unity in your house, your family there means something.
Yes.
Thank you, brothers, for answering my question. And I'm really, really excited, to show you guys that it took 29 years for a special thing to happen and a special spark to ignite. And, with me, I just after the first conversation, I know a lot of people on this conversation currently right now don't know about the conversation that we had a few days prior, where they just brought me in and educated me. And me doing what I do best, I created a song. And definitely, I'm gaining a lot of light with my music. And with this information, I've been putting it into my music. So I know what I can do with my part, and I'm definitely here to help in any way. And if it's anybody in California that after this meeting concludes would like to reach out to me.
You got
And,
Vicerious, brother Vicerious he's in Arizona. He's close to you. I'm not too far from you.
I love to travel. I love to travel. I drove from Florida.
Y'all exchange numbers.
Yes, we must.
But please,
Vicerious,
brother, refer back to the
Vicerious, we have DuPont. Hold on, Shem, hold on. We got DuPont. We have DuPont and Vernon. DuPont and Vernon are in California. DuPont, Vernon, and Vicerious is in Arizona.
and brother Anthony.
And then, well, Anthony's not on right now. Yeah, DuPont's on.
We must get together. We must get together.
Yeah, so y'all need to put your numbers in the chat. However y'all want to do that, whatever.
Yeah, I'll drop my number. I'm very transparent. I'm going to do that now.
Mars, also talk about the platform you are helping to establish,
Yeah,
to build.
Well, currently right now, I've established a platform that has right now about 112 people inside of it, and it was built around love. It was a platform to bring people together to find harmony within everything that happens in the world. The platform is called Homogeneous because we understand that there is a particular reason for everything, like on exists, to shine light to off. It's kind of like the yin and yang. And, with this platform, we're basically enlightening each other and opening each other's minds. And it's on Discord. And, we have in the platform, there's different things that you can talk about, different text channels. And one of them being Aboriginals and talking about Moors and enlightening each other on that. And currently right now, I'm making a sub platform to just branch in just strictly to just more enlightenment, to give more knowledge on what it is that we're talking about today. So, that being a part to bring those 100 people that I have in that community over to the Moor community, so we can start to enlighten and do exactly what Brother Abdullah was talking about, more footwork within the community as other governments are doing, like, the Democrats and the Jehovah Witness and others. We're doing the same thing, utilizing the technology that we have at our arm's reach to broaden our voice, expand the reach that we have. So like I said, please, anyone that will love to collaborate on the West Coast, I'm here, and I will definitely travel, and I'll show that my commitment is here. Because I think if, we just get started, I always say to myself, 1% plus 1% eventually will equal 100%. So no matter how small, no matter what it is that we do, it's still going to equivalent to 100% of what it is that we're going towards. So, it's a start, but at least we're getting started, and I'm here for it. But that's just a brief summary, because I didn't want to take too much time, because I understand we have to get back to the seminar. But after it concludes, please.
That's great. Listen, Moore, that's very great. I like what you're doing. That's great.
You're on mute, Abdullah. You're on mute, Abdullah. Abdullah, you're on mute.
Hey, Mars, don't rush through this, man. We need this. So no.
But we also need your counselorship, because that's really what's going to continue to fuel the fire. Because as we're doing what we're doing, we don't want to do it with misinformation. We want to do it with confidence and validity when it comes to what it is that we're saying, and we're actually not misdirecting the people that we bring into this crowd, because that's currently what's happening, the misdirection, and then it's going to start to be what it was, and that's not what we're going towards. We're going towards a new light, reestablishment. So it's really good for us to understand what it is that you're conveying to us, because we're going to go ahead and convey it to others. So the importance of this meeting is really understanding and making sure that we have the confidence in the understanding that we gain from you, so we can then go out and then give it to others. And then that's how it really starts to build, because those other people are going to ask us questions. And if we start, giving them the wrong answers, we're not really helping ourselves. We're really destroying the community. So I definitely understand the importance of this. And, after this concludes, let's all connect and just continue to do footwork together in our own ways. So I'm here for it.
All right, so I want, Vernon, you're going to be next. I want DuPont to talk and Vicerious to talk. These are the West Coast. All right, anybody else on the West Coast? All right, that's on this platform. So go ahead, Vernon.
Yeah, I was telling wanted to tell the brother, hook up. I put my name in the chat and everything, but also I wanted to talk about how the idea you had about not immediately getting at the people, trying to teach them and create a rapport with the people. And then you can have these discussions once you have a rapport with the people.
Yes,
So I like the idea of that.
Right on, DuPont. I mean, Vernon. DuPont. Hold on, Shem. Hold on, Shem. Let's let DuPont. Because I want I want the West Coast people to talk first. Finish talking so they can. Go ahead, DuPont. By serious, you're on the West Coast. By serious. By serious. He walked away. All right. This is Quasi, brother Quasi. Ujamaa tribe, brother Quasi.
Oh, peace, real quick. I love what I'm hearing. I just wanna offer a little bit of what we're doing here in the political zone known as Georgia. And so with that, building a rapport, as brother said, it's hard to go out to a people that's unconscious. I'll break it down like this. It's equivalent if you have Bloods and you have Crips. So if you're Blood, you go out to the Crip community and you're trying to tell them stuff about the Bloods. They're gonna look at you in an opposing factor, that you come to destroy, you come to tear down. I'm a Negro, I'm Black, I'm colored. You know, my people, they voted, they was marching, and you're saying you something else. Oh, the Moors, they traded on us. Did you read how they did a treaty with the Europeans? So they coming from that. And so what we realized is we need to build a report. We're not saying anything about that. And to the ones that you see that want to talk about that, then you can have that conversation. But what we did was establish the chess club. We know there's a lot of single parents. And so the women, they need downtime. They want to have time to go get their nails done. So we said, let's start a chess club where we can look into the thinking of the child, and because that's the next generation. So how do we reach the children? Well, they just want time. They want to play board games, you know, and give them rewards. So what we do when they get a question right, you know, we give them $1. You know, it's not much. You can save your quarters up and you give them $1. You give them some candy, you know, for getting questions right with thinking, strategies on thinking. And so we develop a chess club bi-weekly. It doesn't take a lot of money. The chessboard is $10. You get you a few chessboard. Each chessboard, you know, two students can sit down on the chessboard, but you only need one or so just to begin teaching them. And you can, you know, you can encourage the parents to get a chessboard if you don't have the funds. You can do it under a shade tree. You can go to your recreation center. You can do it at your recreation center. You can do it in your backyard. And you just set up a program. We do ours bi-weekly on Saturday. We meet for 2 hours from 11 to 1. We've had as much as 20 children. But what we're doing, though, is building a rapport. We're getting the women, oh, I like what they're doing. They're being men. They're leading. They're trying to lead their community, and it's recognized by those who need to recognize it at the time. Other ways you can build is finding vacant lots. We have access to seeds. You want to use heirloom seeds that's not genetically modified. But you want to plant seeds, you can start a garden. The garden teaches the process of what we have to do with the Moorish movement. You have to have the seed, the knowledge, the political legitimacy, your seed. But the environment is your soil. You know, you want to make sure your soil has high pH level, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. So you want to make sure that your surrounding community has the proper stuff. A community garden, they come learn about the process of a root system. You know, it needs water, it needs nutrition, you know, etc. And these are the same things. It's going to take time. It's going to take, some of it will appear that it's not going to harvest, it's not going to produce. But it's the unseen world is what we're tapping into. And so a lot of times we have to plant that seed in their mind, and it won't happen overnight, but you'll begin to see the shift. If you really tap in, you'll see that shift. And it can be great and large. It's a real unseen world. Just as this world is real, there's another world just as tangible. And so we go and we plant those seeds. Agriculture is the physical aspect of seeing that happen. And so you teach them, you don't say anything about the Moors. You just teach them how to plant the seed, you know, how to water, how to pull the weeds, you know, the pruning, the thinning, and all of these steps. And as they grow in consciousness of things around them, they'll be more inclined to receive, hey, have you heard about us not coming from ships? You just throw it out there. You don't tell them nothing else about it. And then, next time you just continue to, you reach them where they are, So we have a community clean team, which sometimes does good, sometimes it doesn't. I'm briefly going over it. The concept of the community clean team, you get with the community. You say, okay, how many children do we want to hire? When I was growing up, I got what you call an allowance. And so you pick you a few children. It don't take a lot of people. You just got to do it. You can have 2 people. You can go out, okay, we're going to just, this street is the street we're going to focus on for years. Not really, but I'm saying, that's all we're going to do is this street. You go out, you clean that street, you find a few children that live on that street. You say, hey, we just cleaned this street up for you. We're going to pay you, $20 every 2 weeks to maintain it. We want you to be able to maintain this street. We'll give you $20 every 2 weeks. And then you begin to build, you get your website, you can get donations, and different things. And you encourage the children to be a part, give them something to build. They want money. They want to go play the game, buy this, buy that. Meet them there. Meet them right there at that. And so, okay, I'll give you this. I'll give you $20 every 2 weeks. And then what we did is ask the community for $5 a month, something that they can't deny. If it's true that we go out and pick up trash and we pay the youth, if that's true, then what is $5 a month? And so we have people paying $5 a month. And then the next thing is, how do you continue month to month to get them to pay the $5 a month? And so that's where the website comes in, where you can do automatic payments, where it automatically comes out of their account instead of having to call them and remind them. Once you get up to 20 people, it's hard to, if you don't have the logistics, it's hard to continue to keep up with the people, reminding them to donate. So you can have that feature from a website. You can send out a reminder, they donate their $5. And you'll be surprised how many people, it's people right now that'll donate $5 right now as we speak. And it works like that everywhere. And so you get them to donate the $5 and you go out once a week. You give 1 hour, just do 1 hour. Go out and pick up trash for 1 hour once a week. If you can't do that, then stop talking about a movement. And so the different aspects to outreach the community, just to build notoriety. We've even done events, Easter event. We know, 4th of July, we understand, but the people, they want to get out, so we reach them there. We may give them a brochure. They come to my chess club. This is the meaning of 4th of July, the astrological meaning with the dog star. You try to, you learn at the same time. You don't want to give them information, that's, like brother was saying, that's false or not fully settled. And so if you don't fully know, just reach them where they are and get them to something new. That's the art of the seed. You're just trying to get the roots to just grow a little bit. And so those are a few of the things that we're implementing, which we want to start doing gun training, but we don't have all the stuff we need to do that yet. But those are some of the outreach programs, even going door to door, just knocking on the door, just set it up like an hour. You say, if you can give yourself, even if it says 7 to 8, you just knock everybody off of work, you knock on doors, just pick a certain street, hit that street till you've talked to everybody on that street, then go to the next street. If somebody don't answer the door, write down the address they didn't answer, you come back next week. But if you can give just like we do at these plants and these warehouses, these different jobs, we give them 10 hours, we see the benefit. It's not hard. What we're doing is not nothing you can't do on your own for the movement. Just give it 1 hour. Just go out, knock on the door. Hey, give them something about your program. Tell them, teach them about something. Just give them something, a way to contact your email. And then that's the art of the unseen world. And then just believe in that, trust in that, and water that. You won't see it physically right now when you first start, but you'll begin to see the women will probably come and start aiding you first. And then the men will follow. But that's our example here. The women seem to be more, I'd sign them up for the chess club. Yeah, I come out to the garden. Then you have the stragglers, the men want to come out and become part then. But it may be different for different areas. But those are some of the strategies that we're using here in this area, known as Georgia. So I end with that.
Now I like that. I like these strategies, and I like May's first strategy is I learned something about these de facto states and their society. The first, they have to build an icon. Once they got an icon, the icon is they hold before the people. When he come or she come, the people will assign what? The rest just to come and see an event or a movie they got or a play. So I like the brother said. The second thing is the states are very clever. In order for the state to get federal funding, they have a certain role, a registered role of how many of a citizenship number. They meet that quorum of citizenship. We got to look at what's going on around. How do they do it? They go out here and advertise. They go out here and come out and walk around with clipboards, knock on the door and stay with the state, got benefits they got for them. And then people listen to that and they weigh their options. Okay, I vote, I'll register to vote because they want that protection. They want that benefit. So this is going on every day, right in front of our face. Celebrities, movie stars, all this stuff attract people. Social program, chess, yes. So we got to look at all the avenues. What it take to bring our people together as a lump sum. Then we give them, how can we draw them? Then we give them to get their signature. See, the state don't care. All the state looking at take the signatures because they can hand the signatures in for funding, federal funding. We need a signature for the community, for our political jurisdiction, our people, protect it in their own society. So we got to come with a kind of plan. We come with some kind of scams and plans to draw our people. Then when we draw them, get them to agree to lock the rest of them with us. The crazy stuff that they're going to protect them because they haven't been protected. And say, well, we're going to start bringing kids together, get proper education, proper funding. We got all the international organizations that can help us out. We just got to do it as a political society, a community of people that's self-determined among themselves. We can do this. We did a 14-week course on how to create government. Abdullah Bey tell you, we went to all this we talking about right now.
It's on the Moroccan Post media YouTube page. Moroccan Post media YouTube page. The 14-week Moorish body politic formation course. It's so available. Kimberly, Mercedes, Queen, and Keisha, and also iPhone. Can you put your either your email or your phone number in or text me? No, text me. I'm Abdullah Bey. I put my phone number in the chat. You can text me, either your text me so that I can have your phone number. All right. That's Mercedes, Kimberly, Queen, Keisha, and iPhone. I have everybody else's.
Do we have any other questions for Shem? He has about 10 minutes before he fly.
We have a question. I think was it DuPont? Did DuPont have his hand?
See DuPont.
DuPont have his hand up?
Are you still there?
My hand's down now. All right. Yeah, Shem got 10 more minutes, I guess. How long you gonna be with us, Shem?
You're on mute.
Shem.
You're on mute, Shem.
Yes. 10 is right about 10 more minutes, yes.
All right, no problem. My question for Shem. Question for Shem. Anybody question for Shem?
I can't.
Shem, go ahead.
All right, no, go ahead. If someone has it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Elkanah.
Go, Elkanah.
All right, so peace, Shem. Again, I want us to get clarity on why not citizenship and nationalization.
Okay, let me explain. You got to understand what nationality is and what expatriation is. De facto and de jure. Expatriation is a de facto way of allowing someone to change their political status.
Hold on, Shem, you got your finger up on the camera.
Oh, yes. Right. Expatriation is a trick, a legislative act passed by Congress to allow one to change their political status so they can be protected on any kind of treaty that brings the United States an obligation to a certain alien or national or foreign government. Nationalization is when a national flee his country for protection and seek protection and shelter, refugee, and asylum and amnesty in a foreign country. That's the difference. So when you become a nationalized in a foreign country, you become a citizen of that country, meaning a party that's recognized by political status. When you change your nationality, you say, hey, listen, I don't have no allegiance to my country, no protection. I'm not claiming any descent or nothing. I'm just claiming to be part of this society for protection, amnesty, and asylum. Period. Expatriation saying, hey, listen, I want the political protection of the citizens of this state. Therefore, I'm willing to waive all my protection, my motherland, benefits through treaty, whether it be to get protection from you. So if you claim to be a citizen is another word in international law talking about national status. That's all I'm talking about. Nationality, give a blood pedigree, a heritage right, a citizenship right. But citizenship is dealing with your political status. That's all it means. It's another word they use to get away from nationality because they want the people to know about nationality. Once one learn about nationality, they realize they get the full benefits and protection of that country that their foremothers and forefathers originally from. And in order to deprive and rob them of that and birthright stuff, you got to bring in what you call political status, expatriation, and hide it, disguise it under the name of what? Immigration. That means we got to say coming to immigration, let them do it through expatriation, meaning waive their political protection and become a political subject, a political citizen, or political member of our corporation, our corporate state organization. You understand?
I understand. That was a great explanation. My second question is, why is it important or necessary for those of us who are, or those of us who are Moors, but who are classified as Negro, colored, African American, Mexican, Jamaican down the line? Why is it important for us? What's the major benefit of us, holding on or claiming, having the claim of Moorish nationality?
Because the old treaties, the old agreements, the instruments that entered into by the European powers on the conquest, or whether the Moors allowed them, they got the title Moor. That means that's a political, that's a nationality. So by having in the contract or agreement Moor, Moroccan, the other agreements are what you call denationalize you, the de facto. What you mean? By saying you're an Indian or you're a Mexican, all of them, that make you illegitimate. You don't have the protection that the Moorish treaties give you. See, the Moorish treaties self-determined that a Moor is protected by council and protected and is an alien and not subject to the laws of any receiving nation. The hosting nation, Morocco, is the sovereign power and has full authority. That's very important. So if the will is being read, I'm using scenario, if the will is being read and you did while the will is being read and you're not acknowledged as a descent or kinsmanship heir of the mother and father, you get no inheritance, period. The will is a specific party. So that treaty is like a will. It's a trust instrument. You're the beneficiary. It's your indemnity policy, your insurance policy to make sure you get the protection and the inherit right you got coming to you. Without calling yourself a Moor, you denationalize yourself. There's birthright theft. You know that your birthright being stolen, and you can sit to it either through not knowing or not being educated. That's called cultural genocide, which the Pope just apologized for. The Pope apologized for committing cultural genocide to the indigenous people. Who did this? The native Moors. Because they were the ones deprived of the nationality, the language, the culture, the fathers, seers, prophets. They're deprived of that right. They're giving for them a fake, artificial, de facto history. What I mean de facto? Illegitimate and illegal. It's no good. It holds no weight. The education they learn has no weight. It does not provide any protection as a Moor or Moors or Moroccan. So they basically call themselves Indian, Mexican, all these names, because they're not in the treaties. These people, these type of titles are not recognized as people in the treaty. So therefore, there's no protection. It's birthright theft. Therefore, they come in and sheep the estate, the land, the water, the air, the resources. They get a sheep on the sheep law. They just says abandoned and commit an adverse possession claim and said there's no government, and then step in like a conservatorship guardian over that estate because it's abandoned, like inheritance. Anytime a mother or father die and leave a will, all their wealth, without no, there's the heir, but the mother or father died with a will, there's no will left. The state will step in like a conservator guardian of that state and call a child a minor, an infant, or ward, or special needy person. Therefore, they're responsible for the needs of that child. Therefore, in order to get that, they cheat the estate, the inheritance. They hold it as collateral, and they finance the gain off it and take the child person down as a surety and guarantor to pay back all debts and use the estate as collateral for international exchange and trade on the international market. This is very important. You understand, Economic?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have Noel Bay. Do you have any questions for Shem? He has about 2 minutes.
Yeah, peace, Shem. Peace to all the Moors. Shem, I got a quick question. As far as council that you was talking about earlier, my question is, how do you get appointed as a council? And my second question is, what is the meaning of ex-rel, or should I say ex-relation in the system that we have, ex-relation?
Well, the council is appointed by a Moorish government elected by the people, but I mean they got a more structured government here, whereas though you got a imperial parliament council, you got a prime minister, or like you said, Abdullah said, president or governor. And you got what you call a judiciary, 3 branches: executive, legislative, and judiciary. Under the executive department, they got a cabinet. Inside the State Department of that cabinet, the agencies and organizations say what? Foreign policy, international law. Therefore, the council is a designated officer that represents any national in a criminal civil dispute in a foreign nation based on the treaty agreement. The ambassador represents the nation of other nations on economic, commerce, and social programs. That it represents the nation. It represents the nation agenda internationally to all the community, international community. So a council is one that's appointed by the legitimate government. A sheikh is one that's appointed by the council general of that government. In 1856 treaty between Morocco and Great Britain, the word sheikh is in there. The council appoints the sheikh. The sheikh is the one that assists the council. This is why Noble Drew already came up with the word grand sheikh. But
move your finger. Move your finger. Shem, move your finger.
Okay. Oh,
move your finger.
I'm sorry. I know I keep forgetting. I'm over the camera. The grand sheikh is appointed by the general council. He assists the council in the international works that the council got designated. When the council is appointed commission by the head of the executive department, he sent forth that commission to a foreign government where the council operate inside a certain facility of that county, region, or province. Therefore, the council, the house, his kids got diplomatic immunity for anything that happened pertaining to that, pertaining with his affairs built with that treaty. He can't be prosecuted. He's an alien, not bound to the laws of that country. Any more questions?
Yeah, and thank you, Shem. And my second question, last but not least, what does the word ex-relation means? I don't know if you heard about it. Ex-rel.
Yes, I heard about it. It's a Latin term in the Black Law Dictionary. I don't have my Black Law Dictionary with me. Abdullah, can you elaborate that real fast? If you know, I don't have my Black Law Dictionary with me. I want to be sorry. I want to say Shem say this. I'm going to go to the Black Law Dictionary that they use.
Shem, give the legal meaning. Give the legal meaning.
Yeah, legal meaning.
Which is extra, related. Most times we see parties say the state of Georgia, Johnny Smith, ex-rel for the state of Georgia. It's related. So this is very important. I want to go into ex-rel because we're not going to be going to no Moorish courtroom, no state courtroom or federal courtroom claiming that. The council will go to the International Organization of International Affairs of the government and deal with the agency or organization that deal specifically with international law, the council jurisdiction. Where that claim doesn't be made that the council come and protect their national based on a treaty as the only contract between both of them nations. Enforceable agreement, the only agreement that whatever clause of that treaty is violated, there is a confessed judgment if it can be proven against that receiving government or hosting government. Anything else?
Shem.
Thank you.
Shem, go ahead. There'll be a last question for you, Shem. Shem.
Peace. I really just had a question. So at this point in time, at the current state of affairs, the United States being a child of Great Britain, we don't even need to be dealing with them in that case. Would that be accurate for me to say that? So we shouldn't be dealing. Why talk? So if a child's over my house and they do something they're not supposed to do, then yes, I'm going to address them. But then I'm really going to address their parents because that's their guardian. That who had the final say over them. So we shouldn't even be dealing with these instrumentalities like that. We need to be going straight as a political body. Would we go straight to the source and just cut out the middleman, so to speak?
Okay,
middleman being the United States.
This has been broken down in the Act of Algiers. It's been broken down in the Fez Treaty and the treaty between Great Britain and Morocco. That when the Crown said any state or nation by conquest or treaty, the United States is a nation by treaty. Therefore, in the treaty, it said that in the French protector, when the United States lost the case in 1956 to France, remember, the United States got protection through France to what? The Treaty of 1778 they entered into with France. Those treaties are still effective. They're enforced. The United States protection is coming through the French government because when they rose up against Great Britain and fled, there was only two nations that gave them sovereignty, amnesty and asylum, the Moors and the French government. The French government, that's it. And the Spanish government fought the wars, but forced Great Britain into their treaty. So, yes, when you go to the Council General of France or England, based on the treaty that the Moors have with them, the Council General of the sovereign bodies will work with your council and go to the proper agency of the United States and say, hey, listen, there's a claim against you in the federal zone, a federal domain. There's a claim against you in the what? And the British domain. Because that's what Abdullah broke that down very well. He said, listen, they're in the colonies' territory. The colonies already zoned out and mapped out by the crown to the Lord proprietors on the Cesar Treaty with the Moors. So therefore, they can't claim any jurisdictional place because the place already is created by in the British embassy, the British domain, RIM. So any operation being done is done in the British domain and the French domain, the French RIM. So when United States, you have a problem with the United States is a colony state operating in the British domain and French domain. So the treaties play a part. That's why I say the Council General, when the United States claimed most favored nation in Morocco, they try to say that they had the same status that the federal French government had in the French zone. They don't have it because they operate their government not in their own zone. They operate in the French domain and RIM and the British domain and RIM. They're not a sovereign body. There was no patent given by the Moors or successors to the United States, any land. Remember, that was given by France and Great Britain. The Moors government did not give them any succession of land or allow them to go any Moors territory and form a government. What the Moors did was they acknowledged them as being a state, a group of states forming a confederacy called the United States. That was acknowledged. Abdullah said, right, there's no treaty clause that said, guess what? We allow you to become a group of states, a country in Morocco here. They go cession territory or territory. No, their territory given to them by Great Britain and France. This is very important. Because a territory claim, not a place. They operate territory in the British domain, French domain. That's it.
Move your finger, Shem. Move your finger. Move your finger.
I'm sorry. I got to go. That's my last question. I have
All
to
right,
go.
y'all.
Thank you very much.
Give him a hand. Give him a hand. Oh, my
Thank
man.
you, Shem. Peace.
Thank you,
Thank
Shem.
you. Thank you.
Yes, y'all be safe.
Thank you, Shem. Thank you.
All right.
Peace, Mo.
My man. All right. So what we're gonna do, y'all, is that we're going to continue. We're going to continue with the excerpt of the United States Counter Memorial to Francis Memorial in the 1952 case. I sent that out to those. In fact, if you want the excerpt, Terrence is going to bring it up. Terrence is on.
Which one is that? I thought we were doing default judgment, but
well, no, we passed. We passed that, Terrence, because remember, we passed. We passed that because I had Shem continue talking because as you would try to get it up, and so that we already, we're not even gonna get back to that because Shem already explained that. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to the Counter Memorial. Yeah, Shem just since you didn't, Shem just got more detail with it. So we good now. So we're gonna go into this. We're gonna continue reading the.
Actually, don't have that. No,
Yeah,
I have that one. Didn't have that one before, did I?
The excerpt of the Counter Memorial.
Oh, I didn't know we were going back to that. All right, so hold on.
Yeah, so I'll just talk while you get it up. Yeah, so I put Mars, DuPont, and Vernon. I put Vicarious' number. I talked to him. His phone died. He's gonna get back on. I put Vicarious' number in the chat. Vicarious ill.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and text him right now.
Yeah, so I talked to him. He said phone had died. He'll get back on. All right, so once again, if you want the Counter Memorial, I sent it out to put your email in the chat if you want the Counter Memorial. I sent it out to everybody else who put their emails in the chat last week. But those of you who want to get the Counter Memorial, put your email in the chat. All right, I will send it out tomorrow.
I didn't prepare that.
I'm already mad.
It's not the Counter Memorial 600 pages. This is as a 15-page excerpt.
Yeah, I didn't prepare that one as a slide today.
You did have it in the slide last week, Terrence.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I did. But I didn't have it.
You don't have it up there?
I have to plug it in into the.
All right. No. All right.
Yeah, I only had the three documents that we were presenting today.
All right, so it's 9/11 because that's what I was prepared to do.
Okay.
All right, so we can't get it up.
Can you send it to me real quick?
Yeah. Man, yeah, it's on my phone. Hold on, I'll send it right now. You'll get it in 3 seconds.
All right, cool.
And I'm gonna ask you a question, Abdullah, to eat up a little bit of this space right here.
Give me. I gotta send this Counter Memorial. Give me 1 minute. I gotta send this.
Okay.
No,
you.
You send it to my Gmail?
I'm going to send it. I'm about to do it right now. You're going to get it. You'll have it in 3 seconds.
I'll put it right on in.
Yeah, Gmail. Yep, Gmail. Come on. What happened? Share.
What's the title?
No, I haven't sent it yet. I'm sending it now. Sending it right now. Excerpt of the United States Counter Memorial. I'm looking up, I'm doing it right now. You got it. I just said that you got it. All right. All right, let me get back on. All right, what's the question, Elkanah?
Right, go ahead. All right, so here is the follow-up, I guess, to what Shem would have answered or whatever. And this was, we talked about what is the benefit of being or claiming your Moorish nationality. And then he, of course, went into the comparison with citizenship and nationality, but then he said, if you were at a funeral and if you, said, hey, you denied your rights to be with this family or whatever the case is, my thing is, what if, suppose you don't know, okay, let's say it this way. Suppose you don't know. Suppose you're like, well, how do I, either how do I determine if I am a Moor, or why do you think I'm a Moor? Now, again, this is me playing devil's advocate, and it's also for the questions of, I'm not going to call it naysayers. These are legitimate arguments. Like, how do I know, on the one end, somebody who's open and receptive, how do I know that I am a Moor? How do I know that I'm a Moor? Like you say, this is all the claims to the Moors and whole 9 yards. How do I know that I'm?
Let me answer the question.
Well, I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking in general.
Well, let me answer the question. I mean, you ask still a question. That doesn't matter who you're speaking for. It's still a question. It's still a question. So let me answer the question. All right. Moor has been, Indian was substituted for Moor. All right. Indian was substituted for Moor. It wasn't there. Those in the late 1800s, those dark olive Moors that were classified as Indian and reclassified as Black. There are a large body of Moors that were classified as Indian and reclassified as Black. That's on record. Also on record is Moor was substituted. They took Indian and substituted, all right, suppressed that and replaced Moor with Indian on documentation. All right, that's one. Two, you have the compound word Black or Moor in the 1591 Geneva Bible. 1591 Geneva Bible, there's the term Black Moor, Black Moor. Black is lowercase, Moor is capitalized. So a compound word does exist, Black or Moor. Now, our people know that they've been classified as Black. They say Black, Black, Black all day long. All right, they say Black all day long. All right. So now show them. What they don't know is that a compound word does exist. What is a compound word? Two words put together to make one word. That exists, Black or Moor. 2, 3, all our people do not have to know for us to make the issue. Black is not a nationality. They've been denied their right to a nationality. Black's not a nationality, but that is a human rights violation. We really don't know, our people do not know how egregious that is. That is a systematic mass denationalization of a people for generations. United States has given us the United States has given us the evidence to hang them. United States has given us the evidence to hang them. It's called school records, hospital records that has black on it, Negro, colored, and African American, hospital records, school records, recreational records. What is the problem, Abdullah? We're not organized as a national political governing body. That's the problem. We're not organized as a national political governing body to address this as a national political governing body in the international community. We're too splintered. We're fighting each other. That's the problem. All our people do not have to know. We need a national political governing body to address mass denationalization. Black is not a nationality. Black is not a nationality. Black is not a nationality. That is a grievous act. That's a human rights violation. DuPont.
Also, real quick, just to add on just a little bit, because there are a lot of references, plenty of references, and one that I want to show real quick is if you go to online etymology dictionary, slide this on over here, and when you type in Negro, right? You type in Negro, you see the noun, right? You see, I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I just want to show y'all. You can look it up for yourselves. In the 1500s, member of a black-skinned race of Africa, right? Check this out. You go all the way down to the bottom, right? And you see where it says meaning African-American vernacular, the English language spoken by U.S. blacks is from 1704. Then it gets all the way to the French. How do you pronounce that, Abdullah?
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see that?
I can't see the screen. I mean, I can't. Yeah, it's small, brother.
Hold on, let me see if I can blow it up for you here.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we keep having it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. You blew.
Hold on. Let me
had it blown up, and then you.
I'm on the spotlight.
You had it up, brother. You had it blown up.
I got you.
You just had it.
How about now?
No, it was all. I saw that. I saw it blown up.
Can you see it now?
It went away. Oh, here it is. I got it. Yeah.
Right.
What's the meaning African American vernacular? Is that what you're talking about? The English language that's spoken by U.S. blacks is from 1704. French Negre is a 16th century, borrowing from Spanish Negro. Older English words were Moor and Blackamoor. There you go. This will be used as a reference as well.
And this definition is also in the Oxford Dictionary, the Oxford etymology Oxford Dictionary as well that I have.
There you go. That's another source right there. I mean, because you got to.
So sorry to be abrupt. Would you mind dropping that link in the text on the chat channel, please? Thank you so much.
Sure. Drop that link, Terrence. Yes, please do. That because they need sources. They need references to teach people. Also, that the Geneva Bible, is that 1571 Geneva Bible? Forget, I'm not clear on I'm not positive on the year, but there's I'll make sure I get that. The Geneva Bible has Blackmore in it.
Yes, I believe it was 15 years before. I believe that was 15 years before the King James Version, 1611. So give me a second. I'll look it up for you.
Abdullah, wasn't that 1599?
I think so. Yeah, I think
1599.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think I sent that to you, Sheen. 1599 Geneva
1599.
Bible.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I looked it up.
And yeah, all right, thank you. If you can find that reference, like the page, the what's it called? The verses. Yeah, the verses. It's our five or six verses with black. One has more in it, and then the other ones have black more. Black is lowercase and more is capitalized. You have to give them these references. You have to. You got to give the people these references. It's better if you can just show it as opposed to saying it. You got to show it to them. Post it on your social media page. You have to show them to it. They say, well, no, we're not Moors, we're black. Oh yeah, you said that, right? You said we're not Moors, we're black. But are you aware that there's a compound word, black or Moor? Oh no, black or Moor? You say you're not Moors, but you're black. They're not aware, that's all.
Here it is.
Right, and they say, and if you saying black means more, that would say mean more or more.
All right, that's not like, all right, no, let's take that. Because there's Wanoka Rashidi said that. Wanoka Rashidi said that. A scholar, Wanoka Rashidi, said, I was in his presence at Camden, New Jersey, 2010. I was there in Camden, New Jersey, 2010 in his presence. And he said black means more, or to justify that we're black. Now, I'll say too, he's since transitioned. Now, Noko Rashidi said black is a Greek word. All right. No, I mean more, I'm sorry. More is a Greek word. But Noko never, isn't that interesting that Noko Rashidi said that more is an a Greek word, but Noko Rashidi never said black is a modern English word? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that Wanoka Rashidi only focused on more? Like he did not, like he gave a language label, he didn't give the original language label. Wanoka Rashidi gave a language label. More is a Greek word. But he did not put the language, he did not give the language label for black though. Isn't that something? He didn't give the language label for black. He didn't say, well, black is a modern English word. See that? You think all people are forced, right? You think they're forced. All right, you'll see. He had an agenda. He didn't want to rock the boat with his black, quote unquote, black agenda. Because he's famous for that. He's traveling the world and the great black scholar, Wanoka Rashidi, the great black scholar, black people all over the world, that would have killed his economics. They ain't really care about the people.
Right. Do you want to get into a little bit of the excerpt of the?
Oh yeah, I just wanted, people were Alkanon asked about that, because people. It's important that I provide these sources. I'm glad you looked it up, Terrence, because more conscious Moors are having difficulty in teaching their children, their loved ones, their co-workers and so forth, and it becomes so combative. And what I've found as a weakness among conscious Moors is that lack of resources. They don't have resources to show the people. They're just saying it. I'm saying, don't say it, show it. Post it. Show it to them. I remember, let me say this and now we go into this. Sister Zodiacus, she's in transition. And she, I didn't directly teach her etymology, but she learned etymology by studying my books. She learned etymology. Sister Zodiacus learned etymology. When I say learn, that sister, she learned etymology by studying my tapes, my CD, and of my presentations and my books. Man, she was breaking etymology. I said, damn, she's doing like, she's an Abdullah Bey. I said, she's an Abdullah Bey. I said, ooh, another Abdullah Bey. I was like, oh my gosh. Man, she was breaking it down, everything she was doing. I said, oh, what's up? Man, I was amazed. Well, she was teaching her son, and her son was in the classroom, and he had blurted out such and such word as means this. And I said to Zodiacus, what you should have instructed your son to show the teacher the dictionary, as opposed to her son said. It would have been more effective if her son had actually taken the dictionary, opened it up, and showed the teacher the word. Why? Why is that different? I said, so now what? The teacher now has to what? Condemn the book. She condemned him. If she had instructed her son to show in the book, now she has to condemn the book. Strategy. If you're just saying it, now they're attacking you. But if you're showing them, now they gotta attack the book. Now she has to attack remember, the book is in the dictionary. The book is in the classroom. So she has to attack the very book that she's giving credence to. She has to attack the very book that she's giving credence to. So she ain't gonna do that. Strategy. Right? So I just want to, give that, experience there. You got to use different strategies, All right, so we can get right. Is Viserys with us? Is he back? Viserys, are you back with us? Amanda, you want to read?
Yeah.
All right. So 25 minutes. Where did Viserys leave off? I think he read 2 pages, Terrence.
Where did we go here?
I don't recall where he left off. So I can't help you there. I think he read 2 pages. We can figure let's tell you what, let's stop. So we're going too fast. You read, did you go by 2? Did you go through?
I think I read.
It looks like it was where it talks about if any quarrel or dispute.
You want to? What about there? Treaty concluded by Morocco. Let's do that one. Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay. Treaty concluded by Morocco with Denmark in 17.
Let me stop you, Amanda. Let me just put this back in the context. All right. This is the United States for those who be watching the video as well. This is an excerpt, a 15-page excerpt of a 600-page United States counter memorial. All right, let me explain. France filed a suit against the United States. This is based on France claimed that she had the most favored nation status, which means dealing with in Morocco, and that the United States, France was taxing United States products, and that France claimed that she had the right to do that. All right, because France had the most favored nation status in Morocco. All right, so France sued the United States, making the claim that France has the most favored nation status over the United States, and that the United States would have to pay taxes on any import, all right, to Morocco. That's the claim. So France filed an international law. It's called a counter memorial. A memorial. France filed a memorial. United States had 6 months to file a counter memorial. This is a suit in the International Court of Justice. The counter memorial that United States filed in that case in the International Court of Justice is 600 pages long. I combed through it and I took the extraterritoriality. What my series read last week and what Amanda will be reading today is excerpts of extraterritoriality, consular jurisdiction, compensatory / extraterritorial consular jurisdiction clauses in various treaties dating from the 1600s, 1700s, and 1800s. All right. So I combed through it, and I'm presenting this to y'all. If you want it, to put your email in the chat. All right, go ahead, Amanda. I just wanted to put that in context.
Treaty concluded by Morocco with Denmark in 1767 also leads to similar conclusions. Article 14 provided, if there arises a difference between a Moroccan and a Dane, the emperor shall decide it or the governor of the place where it will happen in the presence of the consul, who shall defend his cause as he may.
All right, let me stop you there. Real quick. Now, does it read the constitution of a particular nation, or is what that is determined in the treaty? The treaty is the instrument that is used to determine how disputes are to be settled. So this enforce the Constitution, bring our people back into the constitutional fold of government, that is flawed. Where is that in the treaty, though? Where is that coming from, though? Where is that? Once again, where is the merger agreement between the Moroccan Empire and the United States? A merger agreement, which means that to form in order for the Moroccan Empire and the United States to merge as one country, one nation, the Emperor Morocco would have to collapse the Moroccan Empire. United States would have to collapse the United States. They would have to collapse it, boom, and form what? And then that's both of them to collapse. They form a merger agreement, forming a new state. It becomes a new state. Though in the international arena, though it be a new state, those agreements that previous agreements that United States and Morocco had with other nations still withstand. They don't abrogate those previous agreements. All right, that's a principle. I'm saying we have these false misconceptions and concepts, man. We gotta eradicate. Continue, Amanda.
The right of the consul to defend his national in the Moroccan courts was characteristic of criminal cases arising between foreigners and natives. Thus, the French Treaty of 1632 provided an article.
Is that 82?
It might be 82, it's a little blurry. 1682 provided in Article 16, any Frenchman who shall hit a Moroccan shall not be punished until said consul has been called to defend the cause of the Frenchman.
All right, let me stop you there. You see, I want us to direct our attention on the power of a consul, a role of a consul. This is why I'm presenting this to y'all. So you can see you're looking at, this is history here too, because you're looking at 300-year period of treaties, 300-year period of compensatory extraterritorial consular jurisdiction clauses over a period of a 300-year period. We need reading like this. We really do. We have to build up our reading so that you can that you can refer. You could, like you say, according to this, you can go boom. Like you can go like 20 different sources. You got 20 different sources out of your fans, 25 different sources, 50 different sources. You come with 60, 70, 80 different sources. You just boom, 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 or look stuff up. You have to build up your reading. You have to build up your knowledge base. Continue.
The French Treaty of 1767 contained as an identical provision in Article 13, Article 14 of the Danish Treaty, therefore, used the word difference to describe criminal cases. Difference, accordingly, described criminal cases as well as civil cases in Article 15 of the same treaty, providing, and if there arises a difference between some Danes, whatever it might be, said consul shall decide it and no one else without anyone meddling in it.
Read that again, please. Said council shall decide it and what? No one else.
Without anyone meddling in it.
There you go.
To consume the treaties of this period, not referring expressly to criminal jurisdiction as including both civil and criminal jurisdiction is clearly proper in this cause. There was no clear distinction at the time in Morocco between civil and criminal jurisdiction. The modern concept was not yet established that responsibility for the prosecution and punishment of criminal offenses was the function of the state. Instead, the punishment of offenses was the responsibility of the victim or his family, and the proceeding in a criminal case, as in a civil case, was essentially a contest or a dispute between private parties.
This is the United States jurist. United States jurist wrote that. And this is part of the memorial, counter memorial. Go ahead.
Le Boeuf de la Protection au Maroc, 97, to grant jurisdiction to the foreign consul, therefore, in any differences, disputes, contestations, or affairs between his nationals, or as the treaties variously provided.
Stop there. As the treaties, this as the Constitution. Yeah, hold on. As the Constitution, as the I can't read. As the Constitution. I'm sorry. As the treaties various provided.
As the treaties variously provided, was to grant jurisdiction in all cases, irrespective of their character, civil or criminal, as long as they involved only persons of the same nationality. Thus, the treaties concluded by Morocco during the 17th century with France and the Netherlands, and during the 18th century with Great Britain, Spain, the Netherlands, Denmark, and France, granted jurisdiction to the foreign consul explicitly or by reasonable implication in both civil and criminal cases arising between his nationals. The United States Treaty was drafted in 1787. The text of 1836 was only a literal copy of the 1787 treaty. See Part 2, Chapter 1. Article 20 and 21 provided, if any of the citizens of the United States or any persons under their protection shall have any disputes with each other, the consul shall decide between the parties, and whenever the consul shall require any aid or assistance from our government to enforce his decisions, it shall be immediately granted to him.
Judicial assistance, letter rogatory, judicial assistance, letter rogatory. You have the Hague Convention of the letter rogatory, but this is before the Hague Convention of letter rogatory. So would be a letter rogatory principle, all right, because this deals with judicial assistance. But you have what's called the Hague Convention of letter of rogatory, judicial assistance.
If a
Which one is it?
if a citizen of the United States should kill or wound a Moor, or on the contrast, if a Moor should kill or wound a citizen of the United States, the law of the country shall take place, and equal justice shall be rendered, the consul assisting at the trial, and if any delinquent shall make his escape, the consul shall not be answerable for him in any manner whatsoever. In the Treaty of 1682 with France, Article 16 provided, any Frenchman who shall hit a Moroccan shall not be punished until said consul has been called to defend the cause of the Frenchman. Similarly, the Treaty of 1767 with France provided in Article 13, if a Frenchman hits a Moor, he shall be judged only in the presence of his consul who shall defend his cause. Article 14 of the Treaty of 1767 with Denmark provided, if there shall arise a difference between a Moor and a Danish national, the emperor or the governor of the place where this happens shall decide it in the presence of the consul who shall deny his cause as he may.
Seeing the role of the council, that's why this is history. We showing its historical role of a council. Historical role of a council by reading excerpts of various treaties. This is how you educate the people.
Dispute today may tend to connote argument and debate, civil cases, rather than physical exchange of blows, criminal cases. At the time the treaty was drafted, however, dispute connoted an English physical contest and combat, as well as argument and debate. Indeed, it was used for the purpose of referring to criminal cases in Article 9 of the treaty, concluded in 1721 by Morocco with Great Britain. If any quarrel or dispute shall happen between any Englishmen and any Mussulman, by which hurt to either may ensue, the same to be heard before and determined by the emperor only. And if an Englishman who may be the aggressor shall make his escape, no other Englishman shall suffer upon his.
Where are you?
I can't see the word.
Upon his accuser.
Accuser, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was used for the purpose in Article 9 of the British Treaty of 1760. If there shall happen any quarrel or dispute between any Englishmen or any Mussulman by which any of them may receive detriments, the same shall be heard and determined by the emperor alone. And if any Englishman who shall be the aggressor shall make his escape, in such case, no other Englishman shall suffer in his account or in his place. It is also agreed that if any lawsuit, dispute, or difference arises between the subjects of His Britannic Majesty, they shall be accommodated by the consul of the nation. The principle of extraterritoriality was observed as well in all Arab countries. The question is still debated among historians whether the document known as the Testament of Muhammad, AD 629, which conceded extraterritorial privileges to the Christians, is apocryphal. See Randall.
Yes.
Up. I can't see that.
Yes, just continue.
Following the conquest of Jerusalem, the successors of Muhammad left to the Christians the benefit of the Christian laws and judges, le régime des capitulations, dons l'empire Ottomans, excerpt for offenses against Muslim laws. Christians under Muslim domination in Spain were tried by their own judges and in accordance with their own laws. With the Crusades, and because of their influence on the development of commerce, The practice of extraterritoriality became the general rule in all countries along the Mediterranean Sea, whether they were controlled by Christian princes or by Mohammedans. In fact, the desire of Mohammedan rulers for increased commerce and navigation is generally deemed responsible for the widespread development of capitulations in those countries. The Italian cities of Pisa, Venice, Greece, and Florence all obtained extraterritorial privileges in Egypt during the 12th century. The capitulations spread to all the Barbary states between the 12th and 16th centuries. Treaties between Tunis, Venice, Genoa, Pisa, Florence, and Aragon, between Egypt, Venice, and Genoa, between Tripoli and Genoa. The provisions of these capitulations revealed the following patterns. Cases, civil and criminal, involving Christians of the same nationality were within the exclusive jurisdiction of their consuls, and the law to be administered was their national law. In mixed cases, the principal actor sequatorum
I got you.
less was generally followed. Thus, cases between foreigners and different nationalities were to be decided by the consul of the defendant, while cases between natives and foreigners were to be decided by the jurisdiction of the defendant. Extraterritoriality, its rise and its capacity.
Put your phone on mute, please. Device or computer or phone.
Where are we? I actually lost it.
Yeah, no, continue. Go up.
Personal law, extraterritoriality.
Put your phone on mute, please. Phone on mute, please. Device on mute.
Exercising extraterritorial jurisdiction over Moorish nations in the British dominions on Moorish soil, European colonization, European political boundary land survey maps of Moorish lands, European land cession treaties of Moorish land, extraterritorial consular jurisdiction.
That's my addition right there. That's my addition. That's not the United States consul. Then I didn't put Moorish land there. So I have to indicate that's what I wrote. That what Amanda just read, that paragraph, exercising.
It has a different font.
Yeah, yes. Because I actually copied and pasted up, yes.
The history of medieval times is replete with examples of the evidence of the existence in European of systems of extraterritorial jurisdiction based on the personal law of the foreigner. The law of the Goths, Lobans, and Franks provided that foreigners should settle their disputes according to their own lands.
Own laws.
The Italian republics had extraterritorial jurisdiction wherever their commercial enterprises led them. The Emperor of Constantinople gave the right to Venice in 1060 to send its magistrates to judge its nationals in both civil and criminal cases, and Emperor Alexis III granted Venice in 1199 the right to judge also disputes between its own nationals and Greek nationals. Manuel de Droit International Public. By the 15th century, Italian consuls were exercising extraterritorial jurisdiction over their nationals in London, the Netherlands, Spain, and France. The French cities enjoyed similar rights of jurisdiction in Italy and Spain. The consuls of England exercised the same rights in the Netherlands, Russia, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. By the 15th century, Italian consuls were exercising extraterritorial jurisdiction over their nationals in London, the Netherlands, Spain, and France. The French cities enjoyed similar rights of jurisdiction in Italy and Spain. The consuls of England exercised the same rights in the Netherlands, Russia, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. So strong was the concept that it survived in Europe, even in the face of the new principle of territorial sovereignty. Thus, at the end of the 18th century, the United States and France were willing to concede to each other extraterritorial jurisdiction to decide differences in suits arising between their respective subjects on each other's territory. Consular Convention of 1788, Article 12. By Article 10 of a treaty dated February 19th, 1810, England was permitted to maintain in Portugal judges with jurisdiction to decide all cases brought before them by British subjects.
No, hold on, Don, go back down, go down, Terrence. Yeah, these are books. Make sure people clearly see this. I mean, some are written in French, so I want people to see it though, because those will be watching. But these some are in English, written in English, and others are in French. These are titles of books. These are titles of books. This is why, I wanted to provide this for the people. If you like I said, if you want it, put your email in the chat. I sent it out to about 40 people last week. So the 10 of you put your email in the chat, but I other people to whom I sent it out. Share it and post it, So we'll stop there. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
All right, we'll stop there for closing remarks.
Thank you, Amanda. That was really elaborate. Like, I think you need to touch about my reading skills after just
yes,
you did that. That was
wow.
wow.
Yeah, she's our reader, but by Sirius read last week.
Yeah, I can tell she's a reader.
Amanda's been our reader for 3.5 months.
I'm glad you're more. Really glad to have you.
Even she's read a lot in our classes for the past 2 years. Yes.
It's been really
a lot of people hear her voice. Yes. Mars, put your email in the chat so I can send it out to you.
Oh, no, I have. I put it in there. I'm ready. Yeah,
all right.
I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded. Let's do this.
All right, man. Mars wants to talk.
iPhone's Tina.
I gotta put let me send this. All right.
Abdullah.
I'm here.
Hey,
I'm sorry to text somebody.
iPhone is Tina.
Somebody has a question?
I said iPhone is Tina. Can you hear me?
Our iPhone is Tina?
Yeah, she jumped on
your
tonight.
Cousin.
Absolutely.
That's your cousin, Tina?
Absolutely.
Oh, Tina
Welcome,
in the house.
Tina.
Tina in the house. Right on. All right. I got Tina down. All right. Anybody else that I've got? Who has come in? Did you put there? So once again, we have Kimberly. Kimberly sent me her, text me. If y'all want if you want it, if you like to have this excerpt, put your email in the chat, and I'll send it out. I'll send it out tomorrow, maybe tonight, while we're doing this. But if not tonight, I'll send out. But I'll send out tomorrow. It's not gonna take me because I already sent it out to people. I just gotta type in email, so I'll do it tomorrow. I gotta write out the. So we have about 3.5 minutes. Terrence, we can close out. This once again, to make this announcement, this is next week will be the next week. Next month we'll go to every second and fourth. We have class next Wednesday. Next month we'll go to every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. So every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, and that'll go for about, I don't know, for a while. Because they're having this, and it's a lot to do it weekly. So we'll go. We just wanted to get enough content up Shem will finish out. We'll finish out next week the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consolation series, and then second Wednesday of the month, we'll do the recap. Also this Sunday, Moroccan Post and Crumb TV. All right, we have Brother Messiah. His topic is astronomy and astrology and their Masonic connection. This Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Moroccan Post on Crumb TV, we have our guest Messiah. This topic is astronomy and astrology and their Masonic connection.
Hey,
all right.
Abdullah, I got something for you real quick. About your books, can you give a little explanation what we will learn in these books here, as like for instance, Moors and Masonry?
Well, Moors and Masonry lays the historical foundation. Yeah, Moors and Masonry lays the historical foundation of Moors and Masonry Part 2. All right, the historical foundation is our extensive diplomatic and treaty relations with England and France and the Netherlands, Spain and Denmark and Sweden. You know, that these treaty protections. All right, these nations, these kingdoms enter into trade and protection treaties with us so that they can sail the high seas without being molested, so that their sailors, merchants, and ships will be protected as we were seizing their ships and also capturing hundreds of thousands of them. What Moors and Masonry chronicles is the Moroccan empires, as well as the Ottoman Empire / dynasty, tremendous sea power in the Mediterranean and Atlantic during the 15, 16, 1700s. Now, what was the claim? What was the claim that was made? All right, that Portugal, France, Spain, England, and the Netherlands, the Dutch, transported over 12 million out of Africa and sailed to North America, Central America, South America during the 15, 16, 1700s. How could that be? How could that be when both the Ottoman Empire and the Moroccan Empire had this sea power during the 15th in the Mediterranean and the Atlantic? We were seizing their ships. There are newspaper reports. There are treaties. These issues are addressed in the various treaties. The treaties between the England and Tunis, England and Algiers, England and Tripoli, England and Morocco, France and Tunis, France and Tripoli, France and Morocco, France and Algiers, France and the Ottoman Empire, England and the Ottoman Empire, Sweden and Germany, Sweden and Algiers, Sweden and Tripoli. You know, so these are you talk about hundreds of treaties, like the Ottoman Empire and the Moroccan Empire. Why is that not known to the general public of this tremendous power of both the Moroccan Empire and the Ottoman Empire? Or what you hear in the general public in the schools is wars between France and England, wars between France and Germany, France and Spain. But you don't hear wars between France and the Ottoman Empire, France and the Moroccan Empire, England and the Moroccan Empire, England and the Ottoman Empire. You don't hear that. Why not? Why not? So Moors and Masonry lays the historical foundation. Because of Shem's teachings over the past 3.5 years, I've been able to apply international law principles in Moors and Masonry Part 2. So Moors and Masonry Part 1 lays the historical foundation for our reversion to sovereignty claim. Let me explain that. In 1968, in the international court, in 1968, the Salon, the representative of Salon in the United Nations General Assembly, in the International Law Commission, United Nations General Assembly of the Law of Secession and rights with respect to treaties. Salon had been classified as a new state. The representative of Salon challenged that misclassification and made the claim that Salon was not a new state, but actually an old state. Salon the representative pointed to 19th century diplomatic treaty relations with other that Salon had negotiated with other nations. So what Moors and Masonry one does is lays the historical foundation of our reversion to sovereignty claim and re-entering the international community as an old and original state and not a new state. Also, it lays the historical foundation of our reestablishing treaty relations with the treaty nations, Spain, Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, England, Germany, Portugal, and France, etc. So then you have how her moon and Venus rule. What I do is give the astronomy of Easter and also explain that the devil, the image of the devil, that gory looking creature, all right, comes from an ordinary goat. The goat and bull are ancient symbols of fertility, representing power, fertility, and woman. Why we use the goat? Because of the horns, the goat and the bull, because of the crescent-shaped horns. What the Europeans did was distorted it. They took one of our most sacred images and misrepresented as the cause of the world's evil. The goat, the devil, is just a distortion of an ordinary goat, which is an ancient symbol of fertility, power, and woman. The Europeans took our most sacred symbol and distorted it. The world was afraid of that. If that ain't power, to get the world to be afraid of an ancient, distorting it. So I talk about Easter. Easter is Venus. You have the Venetian Council. I go into that. You have the Illuminati, illumination of the mind. So I put the word Illuminati in its proper mental mind science perspective. You have the Masonic Conference Square. In fact, Messiah on Sunday is going to be coming from my book. Messiah is going to be coming from my book. He also teaches astrology. You know, he has more knowledge in astrology than I do. My focus has been astronomy. So Messiah is going to teach both astronomy and astrology, and so is Masonic Connection. He's going to also use my book, Masonic Compass Square, and the connection to measurement and timekeeping. What you see, what they call Masonic symbols are not symbols. They are measurement tools and devices. So I go into that. All right. So I thank you, Terrence, for giving me the opportunity to do that. Now you can go to mooresandmasonry.org, mooresandmasonry.org to get to purchase the books. Right, and so we'll see y'all on Sunday. We see y'all on Sunday. Moroccan Post will come TV, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then next Wednesday as well. And then, like I said, starting next month, we'll go every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. And once again, this will be I think Terrence is going to maybe get this done tomorrow, and we'll send it out. Share and post the video, share and post, and invite other people. Share and post and invite others. Thank you very much for your attention, your support, your questions, and your participation.
Definitely a great class today.
All right, peace, everyone. I'll go ahead out and then
Peace and love, everyone.
Peace,
Peace, peace, peace, love.
Peace, kinfolk. Peace, peace.
Stay positive.
Peace.
Peace, Noble.
Peace.
Peace.